From the PEP Radio newsroom, this is the afternoon news for October 7th, 2025. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. Thousands in Gaza are missing 2 years into the war. When Israeli bombs began falling, Mohammed al-Najjar, his wife and 6 children fled their house in southern Gaza in the dead of night, dispersing in terror alongside hundreds of others from their neighborhood. When the dust settled and al-Najjar huddled with his family in a shelter miles away, his son Ahmed, age 23, was missing. After daybreak, the family searched nearby hospitals and asked neighbors if they had seen him. There was no trace. Nearly 2 years later, they are still looking. It is as if the earth has swallowed him, said Mohammed al-Najjar. He spoke from the family's tent in Mawasi along Gaza's southern coast, their 9th displacement camp since that fateful night in December 2023. Thousands in Gaza are still looking for relatives who are missing in one of the most destructive wars of the past decades. Some are buried under destroyed buildings. Others, like al-Najjar's son, simply disappeared during Israeli military operations. In a war where the true number of the dead is unknown, what the accurate number of missing persons is, nobody knows, said Catherine Bomberger, Director General of the International Commission on Missing Persons. The al-Najjar family had searched through the rubble of their bombed-out home. They went to morgues and checked with the International Committee for the Red Cross. Is he a prisoner in Israel? Is he dead? The 46-year-old father said, "We are lost. We are tormented by everything." The Israeli prison services and the military said they could not release identifying details about specific prisoners and refused to comment on al-Najjar's status. In other news, Bob Ross paintings are going to be auctioned off to support public television stations after federal funding cuts. 30 paintings created by the bushy-haired, soft-spoken Bob Ross will soon be up for auction to defray the costs of programming for small and rural public television stations suffering under cuts in federal funding. Ross, a public television stalwart in the 1980s and 1990s, dedicated his life to making art accessible to everyone, said Joan Kowalski, president of Bob Ross, Inc. This auction ensures his legacy continues to support the very medium that brought his joy and creativity into American homes for decades. Bonhams in Los Angeles will auction 3 of Ross's paintings on November 11th. Other auctions will follow in London, New York, Boston, and online. All profits are pledged to stations that use content from distributor American Public Television. Trump talks love and conflict with Prime Minister Mark Carney during Canadian Prime Minister's visit. President Donald Trump said there is mutual love but natural conflict between the United States and Canada as he sat down with Prime Minister Mark Carney on Tuesday in the Oval Office. Carney's second visit to the United States comes as one of the world's most durable and amicable alliances has been fractured by Trump's trade war and annexation threats. Among the topics up for discussion are trade and the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, which is critical to Canada's economy and is up for review next year. Trump said he was willing to revisit the free trade agreement, which was enacted during his first term, or seek different deals. We could renegotiate it, and that would be good. Or we can just do different deals, he said. We're allowed to do different deals. Relations with Canada's southern neighbor and longtime ally haven't been worse. We've had ups and downs, but this is the lowest point in relations that I can recall, said Frank McKenna, a former Canadian ambassador to the United States and currently deputy chairman of TD Bank. But Trump had some sector-specific tariffs on Canada, known as Section 232 tariffs, that are having an impact. There are 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, for example. McKenna said he is hearing Canada might get some relief in steel and aluminum. It could be 50% to 25%, or agreeing on tariff-free quotas to allow the steel and aluminum to go through at last year's levels, he said. The ties between the two countries are without parallel. About $2.5 billion U.S. worth of goods and services cross the border each day. Canada is the top export destination for 36 U.S. states. There is close cooperation on defense, border security, and law enforcement, and a vast overlap in culture, traditions, and pastimes. That's the news at this hour. If you are watching our news videos on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.